Of the many ancient civilizations of the world, none can surpass the grand majesty of ancient China, one of the oldest and longest lasting civilizations in the history of the world, going back over 4,000 years. Troller Games is proud to announce our latest Mythos series project, the Codex Sonarum. The Codex Sonarum covers the might and profound wonders of prehistoric to medieval China, both historic and mythic for castles and crusades. With almost 200 mythical Chinese creatures and over 140 deities and heroes, the Codex Sonarum is filled with monsters, gods, warriors, and more on a level that will be truly legendary, told in a narrative true to Chinese history. It introduces the basics of Chinese martial arts and is complete with Qi and the many legendary abilities associated with it. Ancient complex systems of sorcery, spellcraft, and fortune-telling, even enchanted charms, are explored as well. Players can live out their characters' adventures in tales set in popular Chinese fantasy styles like wuxia and more, while within a pseudo-historical setting and brought to life by the castle keeper or game master. Researched and written by Brian Young, the wildly popular Mythos series delves into the mythos of the ancient world, bringing hosts of gods and heroes, legends and lore, and even the monsters and foes that plagued the peoples of ancient times to the stories that you create. The Codex Sonarum brings ancient China to your table. Join us and pledge today. Trollord Games, join the fray.
Hello and welcome to QuestJunkiesUK. It's a pleasure to be here with you today, and we are brought to you by the kind support of CZRPG, Phoenix Dice, Trollord Games, and Nathrax 3D Minis. Look out for your chance to win in our fabulous giveaways. Check the session for today's giveaway. And, of course, you can get yourselves a lovely discount over on their homepages using the coupon codes that will pop up in chat. Do not miss this amazing stuff. CZRPG with their beautiful encounter design, maps, a fantastic Patreon for you to join. Phoenix Dice, their incredible, sustainably produced, recycled packaging and everything. The wonderful Click-Clap Math Rocks, do check them out. Trollord Games with their incredible Castles and Crusades original system and lots of D&D content as well. And the beautiful 3D printed and beautifully painted, if you wish, minis of Nathrax 3D Minis. Absolutely wonderful stuff. Please check them out and let them know that the Odyssey sent you. Now, let us also say a huge thank you to the wonderful people over at Sirenscape. Amazing music and sound effects for your games, and just makes the whole experience a completely different level. Check them out, stuff for D&D, Pathfinder, Call of Cthulhu, other game systems, board games, science fiction, fantasy, everything you need. Link in chat for your chance to get a free trial of this amazing product. Now, let's get into the session. To adventure!
Hello, wherever and whenever you are, and welcome back to QuestJunkiesUK. Welcome back to Out of the Abyss, and welcome back to the Lurkwood as we return and jump into today's session. A massive thank you to my lovely players. We shall have more than this, do not worry. One more is on the way, coming soon. And a big hello to everyone over there in chat already as well. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Big shout out to all of those folks in the pre-reel, of course, and to the wonderful folks at CZRPG, timely logo below, who have sponsored our giveaway for this week, the fantastic Davenier's Pocketbook to Ravenloft. If you want your chance to win this fantastic Ravenloft resource, extra domains of dread with all the lore and their dread lords and the maps and extra character options, all sorts of amazing things in there. Exclamation mark, enter in chat for your chance to win today's copy of that. Now, that said, let us catch up on what was going on last time we were here with our adventurers. we were in the Lookwood and attempting to solve the problems that were endangering this whole region and threatening to spill out beyond the borders of the wood, as a fey entity known as the Briar King had started to control the various plants' life and entities of the wood and turn them against the other local inhabitants, and was looking to spread beyond and out into further and further reaches, creating a kingdom for themselves. They were doing this and creating the various monsters by using vampire blood, which they had harvested from captured vampires that were taken in the mountains to the north, in the Spine of the World mountains. Our adventurers were tactically taken prisoner. was this
tactfully?
They were taken prisoner and led into the depths of the Briar Palace, whereupon they leapt forth with their carefully and cunningly hidden weapons and defeated the Briar King and his minions. And, well, actually, I said defeated. They terrified him and had sent him running outside. And because they had destroyed the magics that were hiding the Briar Palace away, the local hag in residence, our good friend, the Sister of Spiders, descended on the Briar King in his palace, nestled amidst the burrows of the undead children that had attempted to bury our friends along with them. And the army of spiders descended on the Briar King and his forces, and they were defeated. Our adventurers, reunited with their spider friend Webster, who had been on a slight leave of absence, were reunited with their other friends out in the forest, waiting their return. And that is where we rejoin them, at the campfire with their other friends, Eldith, the shield dwarf scout, Esmeralda, the friend of Elora from their highway robbery days, and the others heading to the western part of the Lurkwood in search of a wood elf kingdom known as Zumhana. And it is there they seek to return one of their long-term companions on their adventures, Prince Derendil. Reportedly a member of that kingdom, a member of that court, but shifted by an evil wizard into the body of a Quaggoth. Will his subjects remember him? Will they accept him in this new form? That is what we are hoping to find out today. So, without further ado, let us say hello to these fine adventurers. Elora, fellow royal family member, although thrust upon you unknowingly, unwittingly, in your absence, as the disaster that befell your city wiped out everyone else. The King Ralph of the D&D world, if you will. If you're older, if you're not too young to not know that movie. Have you seen that movie? Is that completely lost? It's like it's a movie about this really like loud, crass American who is like a very, very distant relative of the British royal family, and there's an accident and the entire British royal family is wiped out, and he's the next in line. And the hilarity that ensues from trying to get him ready for the role of being king. So anyway, yes, Elora, with much more poise and elegance and royal decree. Who are you? Who are you playing, and where are they at?
That sounds like a great analogy for what that would be like. I'm Sam. I play Elora Lustrous. She's a high elf rogue assassin, or Miss Dranner, as previously described. But she ran away, wanted to get away from the family, get away from all of that royalty nonsense. Started an outlaw band with her friends. They steal from the rich and give to the poor. She got captured by the Underdark, met these lovely people, and has been traveling with them ever since, and is now finally ready to say goodbye to the most annoying part of this journey for Allura, which has been haunting her ever since the beginning.
I came so close to manage to redeem him in your eyes on a few occasions, but never quite got there.
Sympathy once. I think it was when we did the Squid Games. I felt bad for Darren because he was about to die, so I felt a little pity for him. And he probably
okay, I just need to
right away.
Just need to throw him into mortal peril. Okay, I see. Thank you. Kalo, how about your good self?
Hi, friends. I'm Mike. In the real world tonight, I am reprising my role as Kalo, our half-drow paladin of Illustrae, whose only fond memory with our Prince Darendel is trying to start a fire and failing miserably. And he will remember the failure he shared with the good prince.
These things bond us and bring us together and closer in our defeat. Okay, thank you. Now, I think we do have a cleric somewhere.
Oh, he's somewhere.
Lurking on the fringes. We shall have our good friend Zakan here soon. But we shall get to there when we get to there. Now, let us find a more suitable sound set as the sounds of the forest. The Lurkwood returns to its regular scheduled programming as the evils of the Briar King recede and the natural forces return. Let's see. Esmeralda comes to you, Allura. Switches up here. There we go. Esmeralda comes up to you, Allura, and says, "So, how did it go? Everything okay?"
Well, I'd like to say that all's well that ends well, but that was a complete correct.
Who was it? What happened?
It's not even worth getting into. Just know that we were standing in the middle of an army. Just us. Fighting this entire army for Darendil. And she glares over. Just for him, because he needs to get home and make sure that the area around his kingdom is safe.
But, I mean, it was for the villagers and stuff as well, right?
I don't know what's around here. It looks like it's just a bunch of forests. Maybe I didn't see many people other than a wedding.
Well, at least, hopefully the influences on their village, they said they had some sort of bear spirit that looked after them that had turned against them and things. Hopefully that will be returned to normal. And you heard that the Briar King had been kind of mind-controlling creatures and things, and that's what was most likely, responsible for that.
Well, we took care of what was in the forest, and we also made some vampire friends, I guess, if we ever need to ask for a favor.
Vampires?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Sorry, folks. We have a friend jumping in here, so it's got the overlay might get messed up a little bit here. 2 seconds.
It's the vampires.
Ooh, not bad. Just need to switch those two around. Hello.
Hello.
And there. I think that's it. Is that right? Yes, I win. Okay. There we go. Sorry, a bit short to make. There we go. Right, okay. So, Zakan, we just had our intro, and the adventurers returned to the campsite of Eldith and Esmeralda and Darendale in the forest there. And you have just kind of settled down. Evenings settling in. The insects of the forest are chirping away, and the night birds hooting and swooping around in the trees again, as the natural order of things seems to be returning to the forest. So, Esmeralda was talking with Elora here. You know, I have some good news.
I could use some good news.
Let me quickly find something here. I received a sending. It was from, let's see here. It was from my center. And my center was a druid that was in your outlaw band down near Baldur's Gate. A strong follower of Sylvanus, the god of the wilds, and joined in with your band, not so much for the kind of, rescuing rich people's money from them and returning it to the people who could use it more, but it's more in the line of, get out of my forest. And I could help these people, encourage people to stay away from the forest by bringing violence to them on the road. Just a member of your band there. And a magic user. And it seems they had contacted Esmeralda, which is possible now that you are on the surface. It seems from time to time they were attempting to reach out and contact us, just in the hope that if you disappeared off camera, then nobody can prove you're dead.
I'm glad to hear she's alive. Is she doing well? She's doing well.
She said, please hurry back when you can, because she's tired of running the group.
Yeah, she was never much of a cordial leader type. I know she always getting into tips with everyone.
But she said everyone's okay. They're continuing the work. The dagger is sharp, she said.
Wow, I mean, I've tried not to think about what happened to everyone, but now that it's good news, I can finally let that off my shoulders.
Yes. You said that you were going to fight this. Sorry, it feels so strange saying it. There's not words that usually talk about, but these demons.
Yes, it's not what I would normally choose. It's not really my kind of mission, but I felt like it chose me.
Yeah. Well, it's less mine. I'm not being any help at all, really. I'm just surviving. Look, once we get Eldith back to Gauntlegrim, and back with the dwarves. Would it be awful if I go south and meet up with everyone again?
No, not at all. In fact, I think they need you. You've always been a glue for everyone, keeping everyone together, making sure everyone's happy.
Is that why you tried to leave me behind when we went to Elturel?
I didn't try to leave you behind.
You did. You said you wanted me to stay behind so that anything happened to you, I could take charge.
I don't make it sound like I was abandoning you. I just wanted you to be safe.
Well, naive me didn't want to miss out on the fun, but didn't quite know what I was getting into.
No, none of us did. That much is for sure.
The things we've seen, eh?
Did not think these were the kind of monsters I was going to be facing.
Yes, give me angry humble folk and the occasional owlbear any day.
Oh, well, we're more than prepared for that now. I feel like if we go back, we can do with our eyes closed.
Well, that's one thing, isn't it, though, Laura? My center said everyone is okay, but not everything is okay. Something's happened. South of where everyone's based. Down towards, that big library, Candlekeep. Down near the forest to the east of Candlekeep, there was... Do you remember there were stories of ruins there in the forest, the outposts of a city that had disappeared?
Mm-hmm.
My center says the city returned from wherever it had been, but it brought something with it, and that whatever it is corrupting the area. My center said nature is screaming out, terrified. I don't know. I'll see what's going on when I get back, and I'll send word if we need to relocate, okay? And when you're finished and alive, which you will be, promise?
I'll do my best.
That's all we can say, isn't it? But once this is done, you come back to us. Who knows, maybe there's some profit to be made. Ruined city. Ancient artifacts. Lost magic.
This is very true.
All for the taking. A bandit queen. Bandit queen. Not elven. Not elven.
Out of the queen.
Okay.
But yeah, if it reminds you anything of what we've seen in the Underdark, especially, contact us and get out of there.
I will. Whatever this place is, apparently it was called Drakenheim. We'll see what's happening. And, dear viewers, if you want to have a glimpse of a bit closer to the locale of Drakenheim, our Halloween one-shot Friday night, Saturday morning, depending where you are in the world, we'll be travelling through that forest, upon the edge of which Drakenheim has returned. And it was in the Scarlet Song one-shot that the strange magical egg that was carried out from a lich's tomb was broken on the ground and led to the return of Drakenheim. But a la Event Horizon, it didn't come back as it left. And do stay tuned in the future when we do play through the dungeons of Drakenheim. One of the key factions and NPCs of which is a bandit queen and her band of rogues. Wonder who that could be. Just depends if Elora, it's going to be Elora or Esmeralda. Depending on if Elora survives.
We'll see.
Anyway, yes. Yes, you can get a glimpse of the forests and what's going on in the forests near Drakenheim on the weekend. And stay tuned to Candlekeep Mysteries as well as they start to run, because their hometown of Riverbend is very close to where Drakenheim has reappeared. So the strange corruption spreading from the changed city is in their neighborhood. Okay. Zakab, Kalo, you find yourselves wearily sat on the edge of the fire, looking into the flames. Your shared experience, the brush with your goddess, a shared experience that happened in the Briar Palace. What do you say to each other?
I think Kalo's just been kind of staring at the fire for a while and definitely worried, more so, thinking less about the enlightened experiences that he's had on the surface with Illustrate, and more concerned with how Zakan's been recently, and kind of looks over at them. This isn't new for you, is it? You've been keeping it relatively quiet, haven't you?
Zakan, for their part, they have like a stag beetle that's crawling along like their hand and up their arm, and whenever it gets too far, they kind of gently scoop it up and are just kind of mindlessly tending this beetle. And they look up at Kalo with the sort of gently glowing eyes and say, "There is very little that is new to me. But yes, some of this I've kept a hold of."
Yeah, I get it. You're a century old. That's not what I mean, though, and you know that. What's been happening to you recently? I don't ever remember that when I was a boy. What spurred this? Was it either Stray? Was it your previous keeper?
If I'm being honest, I'm not entirely sure. And a long time ago, I stopped questioning the divine. Sometimes there's a path laid out, and one must follow it to its end. But if I had to guess, and they sort of conjure like a small golden flame around their hand, and it starts to do that kind of burning thing, but they don't flinch, and they nod and they say, "I think I'm becoming more attuned to that other place."
The astral plane?
Something like that. Wherever it is that these powers reside. I've seen it only in dreams.
What's it like? I don't think we were there, but where we were when we were rescuing Eldeth, in that sort of ethereal plane, is it anything like that? Where it comes from?
They kind of nod thoughtfully. Yes, it's something like that. It's like a world next to this one. or on top of it, or within it. They kind of shrug their shoulders. Quite frankly, I am not much for reading or studies or the arcane, but it's a place where there's much power, good and bad.
You know, only a week ago we just discovered this place existed, and now you're telling me there are more worlds beyond it.
I think more than we know.
This is not what Illustrae promised. But I don't think she promised that we would find this world with the intent that this would be our last stop. I know we're going back down, but part of me thinks there's more. Not just above, but so below. For all that you've done down there, Sakan, and for all you're going through now, I fear what even further below means for you. A light in the darkness can only burn as swiftly as the candle wick intends. And once it runs, and it will run out, the darkness swallows you. I can't lose you again.
They put a hand on Kayla's shoulder and just for a moment look at his very young face, and they say, "A candle that burns out can always be replaced by another. What's important is that there is light in the darkness when it's needed."
God damn you and your wisdom.
And what matters is not all those other worlds, the realms of the gods or whomever beyond. What matters is this place, and these people, and what you can do for them.
Yeah. You've done so much, and still the journey is only halfway. If you intend to give more, Zakan, we can't lose you like this. If it gets worse, if it gets weird, we can shoulder that burden as much as you've done for them.
They nod and set the beetle down, and they begin to unwrap the bandages around their hand, and where usually the skin in those times that, Kayla's been able to see it is like scarred and cracked and obviously burnt and painfully damaged. It looks actually rather normal, a sort of light gray, wrinkled but smooth. And they hold it up and they say, "I actually feel quite good. Better than I have in a while."
Sure didn't look like it the past few days.
The soul is meant to be in one place. And for whatever power I've been granted, I am just as much mortal as you are. I'm a vessel for power.
A vessel you may be, but the most important one we have right now. Thanks, Sakan. It's too fucking late for philosophical conversations. Do we have any alcohol?
A very good question.
I'm sure Esmeralda and Elvira.
Yeah, Eldith and Esmeralda say, damn right. Here you go.
Thankfully, Corbin's already asleep, so we don't have to worry about them.
Are you sure? I feel like the most adventures have come from Corbin and alcohol. We could go on another if everyone's feeling up to it.
Had a guts full of adventures for tonight, I think. Just quiet.
Chakushio kind of looks at you, and just in the back of their throats, just the flames just kind of kindling a little and just glows dull red in the darkness of the trees behind it. You just hear
You're part of the cool kids club, all right? You're starting to learn common. You are part of the cool kids. We wouldn't get in trouble without you, I promise.
just 2 wisps of smoke come out of its nose.
Last time I partook in too much alcohol, we got this one over here. Looking at Sarkushio, glaring at us in the darkness. But I don't know if I want to do that tonight.
We'll shrink in this case.
Chakushio channels the DM's voice, and he's like, in his broken common, he's slowly learning. No more pets. He checks that Corbin can't hear him.
Well, jealousy isn't a flattering look, Shakushio.
He clearly wants to start hoarding treasure, not hoarding friends. He's
the true treasure.
He's a red wormling after all. Okay. So, as you all eat and drink and rest, your friends take watch to allow you a full rest, and you may all take the benefits of a long rest.
Yay, I got my smite slots back.
Oh dang, I didn't roll hit points.
Oh, we didn't, that's right.
Oh, yeah. A good point, sorry. So yeah, do you want to pop into your character builder there, and then go to the manage HP box at the top there, and see what's your hit dice? Yours a 10, Kalo?
Yep.
And Zakan, same or 8?
It depends on which class it was, and I think I just took.
Yeah, it's the one you're all the one you took a level in.
Yeah, which was cleric. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be.
Laura, are you a D8 or 6?
I think I'm a D6. Yeah.
Is it 6s?
Oh, Laura, you're a rogue, so you should be 8.
Oh.
Take more. You're the finisher.
On the manage HP window, at the top of when you open the character builder, it's in the top right. It says what dice is your hit dice at the bottom. And so you'll have a number of them.
Oh yeah, I'm D8. Yeah.
Okay, right. So Kalo, how'd you go?
Well, I got, and we're going to do this one offline.
You get HP.
Oh, good. That's a 9.
Hey, nice. Okay, so you add that to the rolled HP box total. Zakan?
Yep.
That's a big old 7.
Hey, look at this. And Elora. 3. Okay. Could be worse. So yeah, add that to the rolled HP total, and then the if your con changed towards, you get your con level per level as well. Oh, don't worry, Phantom. D&D Beyond does that automatically. I'm saying don't forget your con bonus, but it does it automatically. The number in the box is just what you rolled on the dice. The total of what you've rolled on the dice.
It's very helpful that it shows you like what the average should be and what the maximum is and stuff like that. Just make sure I've caught each one. Okay, I'm in the right area.
Indeed. Oh, right. So, as we switch from forest night to forest day. And you awaken with sunlight broken through the leaves above and dappling the forest floor below. Elora, this is very reminiscent of your time with your bandit friends far to the south, as you spend the night out in the woods. Of course, you know your base of operations was a bit more comfortable, but when you were out on the road, keeping an eye for a nice fat caravan coming by, you would spend nights like this under the trees. And Esmeralda actually says, it's been too long. There's something to be said for a bed of moss. She kind of like shakes it out of her hair.
It's quite different from the kind of moss and growth in the Underdark.
Yes. Yes, a bit more accommodating. So, do you think he's okay? She kind of points off to the side, and Prince Darendil, the large Kogoth, is kind of off to the edge of the glade where you're all camped, kind of looking off to the west through the trees. Casting. Yeah. Go for it, Elora, yeah?
I think Elora, when Esmeralda, you think he's okay? She just yelled, Darendil, you okay? How you doing over there, buddy?
You gonna go over?
Yeah.
Okay. As you walk over, he looked like he was like kind of like slumped, like his head was like kind of cast down. But you see, but with the morning sun like coming down through the break in the trees in this clearing on his back, he's casting his own shadow in front of him. You know, as the sun comes up in the east there, and he's looking down at his shadow. Oh, good morning, Elora. I trust you slept okay?
I'm doing good. What are you looking at?
That. Points a big shaggy finger and claw down at the shadow, and then looks down at his hand as well. This. Me. I'm concerned. What will they think of me in Sumhana?
Well, I'd like to say something comforting, but what I know of royalty is they're not exactly the accepting type. But well, I don't know. What was your relationship like with them? You seem like you probably fit in well at the time.
Thank you so much. Just insult them and said he'll fit in. He's like, oh, good. Well, it's true. I mean, there were incursions from caves in the nearby forest on occasion. Beasts like me were hunted. The defense of the realm and all that. I didn't like what I saw of myself when we were in combat in the Underdark. What if I switch into that? What if I lose control in some courtly debate or duel or something? I'm sure it's terribly bad form to leap on your opponent and tear their throat out.
Well, one, I liked you best in those moments. Two, you haven't lost your cool yet in other situations, and they're quite the odd gang that's gathered over here, so you can probably keep your cool. I think the bigger problem here is figuring out how you're going to convince them who you say you are. Can I suggest maybe some secrets that you know? Maybe something that only the prince would know?
Yes. I mean, should be easy enough, assuming my mother is still in charge. Can't have a prince without a queen.
What are the chances that she's not?
Low to small, I would say. Relatively safe location, and the Briar King, thanks to you fine folks, is no longer a danger. She had ruled for many years and had many more ahead of her. And just... I wish I knew more, had more recollection of what happened. Until that wizard did this to me. Changed my entire form, leaving me a prisoner in this body. We escaped one prison, but I can't escape this one, it seems. Perhaps Mother's mages. Druids? Perhaps they can fix this. I don't know. It's strange, though. It's been so long. This almost feels like me. I'm not ashamed. I am Prince Derendil. What matter the fuzziness? I don't know. Your people, would they accept, upon of course proving the validity of one's, identity, would they accept a difference of appearance?
My people, awful creatures who rejected anything that wasn't their own, which is why I left. Among many other reasons. And, well, I think you had one thing right. You are you, regardless of what you...
Thank you. And not reading any disrespect to your family, ancestors. If they were so horrible, perhaps it was just as well they got a city to the face.
Oh, well... Some of them deserved it, and some of them did not.
Well, I'm glad to say the ruling council, led by my mother and Zumhana, are just, protective of the wilds, but just. At least get the chance to prove what's going on. And then I shall gather my mother's banners and we shall hunt down this wizard.
Sure, that's the most important thing happening right now.
Well, evil wizard, perhaps he's something to do with all this mess.
Right. The evil wizard who is stirring up the evils of the Underdark is very interested in you.
He did this. I have an itching to show him the pointy end of his work. Just kind of looks at his claws.
Right. Just make sure when you're done with that mission, you actually send some people to help us.
Oh, don't worry. We can talk with my mother. She'll be delighted and so indebted that you have helped me return. I suppose there's no putting it off, really, is there? And you can see that while you've been talking, the others, Zakar and Kalo and the others behind have broken camp and saddled up Webster's saddlebags. And
It's not too tight, Webster. Oh, no, don't kick. I'm just getting the hang of this.
And you set off into the western reaches of Lockwood. Is there anything that you'd like to talk about on the way? Or can we just enjoy our sunny walk through the forest? A reminder, if nothing else... Sorry, Kate. Yeah, go for it, Kate.
You first.
I was going to say, if nothing else, it serves as a nice reminder of what you're protecting.
It's very true. I think just for flavor's sake, just to really quick describe, I think the outside world is still fresh and new to him, so Kalo's just kind of like looking through the trees, kind of seeing the sunlight peer through, kind of taking in the glow. Something like this just typically doesn't happen for him because most of the fire down there is artificial. So feeling actual, genuine warmth from the sun feels alien, and he's just taking that in as the moment. Probably so distracted by it, but also slightly hungover, I'm sure. So he's enjoying sort of the peace in the front.
And mechanically at disadvantage in the sunlight?
No, thankfully.
Oh, okay.
Half elves, baby.
Ah, okay, there you go. Yes, your father's... Mother's?
Father.
Gift. Father, yes. Your father's gift to you.
Thanks, Dad.
Okay. Then the alcohol, the hangover gives you a disadvantage.
Oh, fuck.
I think
yes.
Zakan is up front with Darendelle, because I feel like Darendelle would be, kind of leading the way.
Yep.
And Zakan's sort of used to just, scouting and leading a group. And after, some walking, just sort of out of nowhere, and they say, Darendelle.
Yes, Zakan, old boy. Hey.
What will you do if the court does not accept you as you are?
I hadn't dwelled on it too much, to be honest. Any offers?
Well, depends on what it is that you want. Do you wish to return to your old life, or is it revenge against that wizard that you're seeking, or is it something new? Do you think you could go back in your old form to your old life?
If they'll accept me, see why not. There are, other races in the community. Some half-elf families as well, like Kalo.
There's more of me?
Oh, you're one of a type, Kalo.
I certainly hope not.
You're a twin?
This is all just earshot, by the way. He probably just heard it in like hindsight and was just, oh, there's more of me, and then just totally forgot the conversation.
All right, this blunt line of questioning is not secret. It's just like been silent out of nowhere.
Oh, just those it's those families that I was kind of thinking of. A sign that acceptance is there. I do hope. Perhaps. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see, I suppose.
Is there anything that we should be aware of coming in? Any delicate situations or things that we should say or do that will get us in their good graces?
The main challenge that lies before us is passing the sentries and guards, but don't worry, I should be able to invoke my mother's name for that.
Well, let us hope it all goes smoothly then.
Indeed. And the group of you continue through the trees and towards where Darendal seems to think you need to go. Now, at some point later in the day, there is Elora, you, Esmeralda, and Darendil. He through his familiarity, you and Esmeralda through your experience, become aware of company moving through the trees up in the boughs to the flanks on the left and right. Not within sight, but there is a change in the bird song and the sense that you are not alone anymore.
I think Laura would try to signal very carefully, like something very slight with her hands. Motion may come up closer, but so that she can whisper. Just to whoever's closest to Colin.
Yeah. Darendil kind of looks to you and he's like, yes. A keen sense you have there, Laura. We are close, it seems. Not to fear. Of course. Purely defensive. Visitors are allowed in Zumhana. Although... there seems to be more of an escort than normal.
Escort, a really nice way of saying an ambush.
No, I think their I think their curiosity should have the better of them at the moment. We are a very mixed bunch. Ah. Look. This is where we find out if my mother's name still holds sway. And he's pointing through the trees, and you see ahead of you a moss-covered stone with elven script on it that you can read, identifying it as the boundary marker of the realm of Zumhana. A warning about, crossing into the area with evil intent or violent intent. And Prince Darendel says, "Everyone, just a moment, please," and strides forward and places a big shaggy hand on top of the stone. Looks over to you nervously, kind of laughing. "I remember, as a child, this seemed so big." He's like down, like at his chest height now. He just like easily puts his hand on top of it. He looks into the trees. "Good day, scouts of Zumhana. Know that we come in peace, and that I invoke the name of Councillor Aradel. It is her we wish to see, and we wish you no ill will." And he makes a show of taking his weapon and sliding it round to his back, so it would be awkward to draw. He looks at you expectantly.
The same.
I think all Zakan has out is their quarterstaff, which looks like a walking staff anyway, but
Yeah.
no. They'll put it on their back.
"We seek shelter for this old man." Old woman.
They've fallen and they can't get up.
Yeah, I've got my life alert bracelet on.
Elora?
Oh.
You follow suit?
Oh yeah, I said I do the same. Yeah.
Okay.
Hands up. Can't see my.
And as you all do that and follow Darendel's lead, melting out of the trees, completely indistinguishable until they step into the sunlight around the stone, there are about 20 wood elf scouts in, well-fitting, well-made, loose, easy to move in garments of, natural colours, browns and greens, and with short swords and bows. Bows held at their sides, with arrows notched, but not drawn. And they step forward. Visitors are welcome in Zumhana, but we ask that you allow us to accompany you on your final leg of the journey. These are danger-fraught times. How was your journey? Were you not accosted in the forest?
Something like that.
There is something stirring beneath the roots. There have been all manner of beasts. It is good fortune that you have reached us in one piece. There are strange plant-like entities, both from the forest and below. They have been seen, they have been defended against. What did you see on your journey? And they're not barring the way. They're going to fall in as you continue walking past the boundary stone.
We thought we removed those plant creatures. We recently dealt with a Briar King and their Briar children, the children of the Briar. We thought those were the only plants that would threaten the forest, but it seems we failed in that, Julie.
This is more than such a small band could hope to deal with. Are you aware of the myconid creatures of the caverns below the forest floor?
There's like that anime like style reaction in Zakon where it's like doom doom and it like, you know, flashes black and white with the shing.
There have been incursions, shall we say. Excursions? Myconids, but not normal ones. Half decayed, twisted, strange versions of these normally peaceful creatures. They have been sallying forth from the caverns nearby.
Trying to like... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
The power of our forces should have them at bay, but there are many ways to the below.
Yes, we did come out of them recently. First, we may ask that we bring your Prince Darendel home, and then we can help you deal with these excursions.
Has something befallen him? He was on a hunting trip.
Pointing at Darendel in his new Quaggoth form.
Darendel kind of like almost like shakes his head. So he doesn't want to test like the charity of acceptance of these on guard, like, you know, defensive outerlying people, rather than broach the issue closer to home.
Is somewhere back there. Sorry, I made a friend down there as a Quaggoth named Prince. Sorry, I apologize. It's just a title we give him. Look, if this incursion is truly as threatening to your people as you say, we will need to understand in full complexity what these caverns, where they are, and what you're dealing with. We recently just encountered a Briar King, and I do not believe my party is intent to jump back into chaos without knowing what we're getting ourselves into once again.
Let us make to the court, and you may share information. And they lead you through the trees, and after a while, and a fairly disorientating journey, you think you would be hard-pressed to find this place again if you ever left and tried to come back. You start to see... It's not immediately obvious, but you start to see structures kind of almost like organically blended with the trees and the roots and the natural terrain, and they become more pronounced, and before long they're becoming, you know, larger buildings and halls and beautiful fluted columns, much like the art that was in the tweet today, which I do have in Roll20 as well. For everyone. Spot here.
Oh, that's pretty. I like that.
There you go. And yes, you travel along and reach a large cluster of these beautiful buildings, minus the Patronus. Hey, thanks for the follow. And you are led along a beautiful path between just, no cultivated gardens or anything here, but just the natural plant life and the majesty of these ancient trees that you've come across here. Just by merit of their size, you can just understand the age that you're experiencing here. Sorry, I think we can chill the music out a bit here. You see these beautiful colonnaded towers and chambers as you arrive at the court of Zumhana. The scouts say, if indeed you do have news regarding the current situation, then the council will hear you. And you are led up the edge of this river and across this beautiful arched bridge that we can see there in the background, and into the main hall, which is it's beyond those columns and buildings on the outside of that massive tree there. And it's actually, you know how sometimes on a riverbank, like the river will wash away the dirt underneath with the roots, and you're just left with this almost like this cage of roots. It's that, but those buildings have been added to the front of that structure. So the roots of that massive tree up above it are the columns of this almost large kind of court room, the ballroom, almost like throne room type of area, and there are openings above which let in the natural sunlight through in these beams that just lance down into the space. And there are sources of light. The whole space is illuminated and beautiful. The floor is some sort of natural stone. There's clearly there's no use of worked wood. There's no planks or floorboards or anything, but some sort of natural stone has been used to create this large floor space here, and making your way between the various roots, which are also the columns here, to the various of the roots of the tree above. You see in the space a great many elves, half elves, a few dwarfs, who Eldiv kind of nods at, and a few humans as well, different visitors to the court, it seems. And you find yourselves walking down towards the far end, where a semicircle of chairs is on a slightly raised dais, not particularly higher up above than everyone else, but and there is a long table between all of them with various documents and things, and the members of this council, from the sounds of things, are not sat in the chairs like lording over people, but they're actually stood at the table and making sure that doing the business of the day and meeting people who come up from the people gathered in the court, although they do seem to be about their own business as well. And there are guards here, not particularly fancy uniforms, but just more of a rustic kind of look to them. Again, those same natural colours, but definitely very efficient looking. And they're spaced around the room at the foot of these roots as they come down from the tree. And the scouts say, "We must return to the border. Be welcome." And they leave and return to the forest. Darendil kind of looks around at you all. Here we go.
Your home leaves nothing to the imagination. Are you feeling all right? Can you do this, Darendil?
It is what I travelled all this way to do. And it would be a disservice to your aid, protection, companionship on the journey to not see it through.
Oh, we're definitely seeing it through, all right. That sounds like your home has also seen much worse than we anticipated. Alora, Zakan. Not sure who we're going to encounter, but do we leap at this chance again?
Zakan's been kind of lost in thought ever since that Mike and Id talk. But to that, they speak up. What is happening here? It will get much worse if we don't stop it.
I was afraid you'd say that. Alora, I know how much you hate these things. Do you think you can take another ride up in the above world one more time?
Well, we've come this far, haven't we?
Well, that's 3 allies again, Darendil. It's like you said, we didn't come this far not to see it through.
He nods, sets his jaw, and turns and strides towards the council table. You just follow behind him?
Yeah. I thought you were going to say something.
Respectable
Yeah,
distance.
That's okay. And he comes up short, a few meters away from the dais, and the members of the court look up from the papers kind of inquiringly, and he kind of nervously straightens his cloak and steps forward. Members of the Council of Zumhana, we have travelled far to return home. And the councillors look confused. At this Quaggoth claiming to have journeyed home. And an elderly female elf in the center of the table, directly in front of Darendil, Councillor Aridel, puts her hands on the table. Home? I do not believe we've had the pleasure of ever meeting such a well-spoken Quaggoth. Please, state your business. And Darrendel's just like staring up at his mother. And he takes one more step forward and reaches up to his chest. And he's about to say mother and start to say something. Just as he's about to say that, he just goes, horns go off. A fanfare. Not brazen like the the human courts and the royalty accolades and things that greet the other royalty, but a more musical kind of delicate, subdued affair, but a fanfare nonetheless. And a large group of elves come striding in from the same entrance that you came from. And Councillor Aradel looks up from the Quaggoth in front of her and past as this new group approaches. Ah! Darendil. A good hunt, I hope? And a tall, elven, noble-looking fellow at the front of the group says, Mother! Yes. A good hunt indeed. Oh, visitors? And the Quaggoth, Darendel, is just stunned. He's just looking between the two of them.
What in the hells? Kind of whispering to Darendel. What in the hells is that? That's not you, is it?
I don't know what's going on. I shouldn't be here. And he turns and kind of stumbles, like pushes past you, almost drunkenly, and makes his way back out towards the river in front of the palace. And Councillor Aradel turns. Apologies. Sorry. Which of you speaks? Your colleague seems to have taken ill.
Our colleague has been distressed by recent events. We speak together. We have recently come from a part of the Briarwood where we took down the Briar King. More importantly, I don't believe we've had the pleasure of meeting this Darendel? Kind of looking between the group and then to Darendel. We apologize. We're new here and we were taken in, asked by your guard to help with a situation in the caverns recently.
Oh, Darendil has just returned from an excursion into the caverns. Darling, would you? He's like, oh, yes, mother, yes, can do. And he's like pulling off like gloves. And he like slaps them into his palm. Well, a pleasure to meet you all. Welcome to Zamana. You are welcome to rest, spend your time, deliver your news, trade. What is it that brings you here? News, you say? Yes. Intelligence on the uprisings? the abyssal creatures. You traveling with a Quaggoth? Rare to see one of those in daylight. Oh, you too! Kind of punches you on the shoulder, Kayla.
Yes. Sorry, I don't believe we've had the pleasure. And I think what Kayla's going to try and do is, like, if Prince Darendale reaches out for a handshake, he wants to try and, like, check to see if there's anything fake, because I think he's kind of familiar with how Corbin is a changeling, so maybe he might get a sense of that. There might be something off there, so maybe reach out for a handshake to see how Darendale reacts.
He eagerly clasps your hand and shakes it. Nothing illusory, it seems. Although, you know that Corbin's isn't illusory either, it's just an actual physical change.
I wouldn't sense anything unusual. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say we're of a similar mind, because I think as Darendale, made their way out, our Darendale, Zakan bows their head and says, "Pardon me, I'll go fetch him." And as they're walking away, can they stealthily cast Detect Evil and Good?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there are somatic components. So. But just sort of keeping their hands, with their back to everyone, they cast it. And so for the duration, if there is an aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead within 30 feet of you.
Okay.
As well as where the creature is located. So they'd cast it so that,
Okay.
New Darendale was in the range.
Yeah. And as you leave the throne room, the council chamber is probably more apt. You're passed by a group of raiders from Guild Superior as they enter into the palace.
Getting busy in here.
It is a bustling Wood Elf court. Hello, how you doing, Guild Superior? I hope you had a fantastic session, everybody. Our stream team.
Are there any
buddies over
Celestials, Elemental, Fey, Fiend, Undead in Guild Superior?
You'd have to ask them. I'm not sure. I know Darling Creepshow plays with them from time to time, so there may be some element of the crypt about them. Big welcome. And whilst we've taken a pause here as well, a big welcome to Dan as well. Dan from the Sirenscape team in the chat there. Good to have you. Welcome in.
Hello.
Oh, the OK's GM. My character died. No.
No.
Welcome in, Dan. I think we have emailed a couple of times. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. Yes. By the way, speaking of Darling Creepshow and streams at this time of day, Friday night or Saturday morning, depending where you are in the world, we will be having our fantastic Halloween one-shot from the Arcane Library with an entirely original Sirenscape soundscape for the horror and the terror that awaits Darling Creepshow. The fantastic GM workshop, the most recent addition to the crew. Our friend Baron Dragonborn and our player Stephanie is joining us for that one as well. Don't miss that amazing Halloween one-shot coming up this weekend. And enjoy the ambiance that can terrify people like Sirenscape can.
And if you at home aren't using Sirenscape, why?
What's wrong with you?
Thank you, Dan. Yes, we tag Sirenscape in all the posts. Thank you. Yes, yeah, it's all good stuff. While you're here, Dan, let me say a quick thank you, especially for the terror that you induced in my Curse of Strahd players, especially in Death House. A sound set that we love to use at every given opportunity.
John uses Sirenscape only for evil.
Not true. Look, we have nice,
as
light,
intended,
mysterious music as well.
It's a facade.
This is copyright-free music that I have added to the sound sets. Everything on Sirenscape that they've added themselves is evil and dangerous. Yes. Except, I suppose, in the new Witchlight, Wild Beyond the Witchlight sets, the fairy picnic music isn't so bad.
It's a facade.
Dan, I especially love the 3D design in some of the sounds. There was a session we were doing when a headless horseman came charging through the scene, and the horse effects went through your head, like from earphone to earphone. It was incredible.
Love that stuff.
And Michael in Curse of Strahd, especially in the Death House, like especially up in the attic, would thank you so much, Dan. Would frequently look behind him, even though there was like a wall directly behind him. Hey, Vancouver by Night, good to see you. Okay, so, by the way, Vancouver by Night, is that a Vampire the Masquerade inspired name? I know that's a popular title for Vampire the Masquerade streams. Right, because I've seen New York by Night, LA by Night. I only ask because one of the possible upcoming adventures that we're about to embark on here in QuestJunkiesUK is something that we are uniquely positioned to do and to run properly, and that is Tokyo by Night.
Oh, very cool. That's
Yes.
right. That's right.
Yes, we are looking to run a Japanese-based Vampire the Masquerade.
Have you stocked up on D6s? Because you're going to need so many.
I look forward to it.
Dump them
Okay.
all out.
Real satisfying. Love vampire and werewolf for that.
Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to giving it a go. Okay, so anyway, sorry. Trauma and drama is happening. Elora, what are you doing?
I think Alora is going to kind of put on a face that no one has ever really seen before, and she's going to stand up really tall and like extend her hand. It's a pleasure to meet you.
To Prince Darendil?
Yeah.
The elven Prince Darendil. and he's like, oh, and I, Prince Darendil. Darendil's fine.
Right. I believe we may have had a similar upbringing. It looks like your beautiful home reminds me of my own kingdom.
Oh, gracious! And he drops him. He bends in a elaborate, flourishing bow. I apologize. Your travel clothes belie your station.
We've been through quite a bit.
But you have me at an advantage. May I have your name?
Oh, it's Alora Lustrous.
And excuse us, tucked away in the deep forest here. From where do you hail?
I hail from Mithdranar, quite far from here.
Gracious, our high elf cousins.
Of course. I wonder, what was your upbringing like in this beautiful place? How did you and your family grow up here? I wonder if your customs are similar to mine. Like, for example, your mother, what was her favorite meal she might have cooked you?
Gracious, I am slightly embarrassing, but I do love a good acorn pie.
And she turns to the counselor and see if there is some sort of confirmation that's what she made.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay.
The long con.
Councillor Aradel looks up and says, you know what I told you, Darendil? If you're going to root around on the forest floor like some kind of wild boar, then you're going to grow tusks. He's like, you said that to me when I was 20, maybe. I was a child anymore, Mother.
Interesting.
Seems legit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, can I do an insight check on that?
Please do, yeah.
19.
It does seem to be the way.
Oh, very fascinating stuff.
What brings you so far afield? He's like, gracious. My manners. Elora. Is it true? We've heard rumors. Tragedy. Disaster.
Yes, I'm afraid to report that my home has been destroyed, and I was gone, and happened in my absence, but as soon as we regroup, I tend to go straight home.
Yes. I'm only happy that you survived. Were luckily absent.
Right, well, we were captured in the intern, and I found out in quite a roundabout way, but I will be going home.
And he puts his hands to a beautiful, graceful longsword, across, on his back. He's like, captured? By whom? I shall not have such an affront to our cousins.
Well, we've taken care of it already. I can promise you that we're no longer trailing us.
Spectacular. I'm glad. I'm glad you're not one of those balls and galas princesses.
No.
Do you defend your borders too?
Oh, of course. Of course.
Oh, you must join us. There are all sorts of strange, abyssal creatures rising up from the nearby caverns.
Well, we plan to help you with that. Our friend seems to have gone ill and not feeling well, which as soon as he's feeling better, we could help with that.
Oh, don't worry. I mean, we have things under control. But if there's anything that's the court of mother, and he kind of may I? And he kind of offers his elbow.
Of course.
And kind of
bite her tongue on the inside so hard, she's screaming.
Kind of leads you up towards the dais, towards the council table there. Mother, Elora here travels from Mithdrana so far. And she looks up and everyone just kind of straightens up a little bit around the table. And as we lose Elora to a flurry of niceties, let us jump over to Zakarn.
Yeah. So when they were when they cast that spell while new Darendil was around, was there any ping on that as they were making their way out?
There's no apparently no evil entities around.
So this is, by all accounts, just an elf?
Indeed. Well, a humanoid creature.
Yeah. That's what aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead. That's what it checks for.
Okay. Sorry, folks. Let me get rid of a beautiful picture there for a second.
It's funny. It calls it detect evil and good, and I guess it's going on the old D&D rules that those races are always evil or good.
Right.
Yeah. It's specifically detecting types of beings.
Yes. Yes. The well-meaning the well-meaning aberration slips by.
Yeah. Friendly Boy Scout aberration.
Yep. Your Prince Darendil is a humanoid, so it does not ping.
Cool. And then new one does not ping as well.
I did not know.
Okay. So that was their initial thought was that, but if they don't get any ping off new one, then they are just going out to our Darendil.
Okay. And he stood. There's this beautiful arched walkway with an arched covering above it. Again, crafted from natural wood, and I think the shape stone, right? The spell shape stone. I think there's an equivalent a respectful equivalent for wood as well. So these, or whether maybe the tree has been kind of shepherded to grow in a certain way over the centuries that the elves have to indulge in these things. And he stood. There's like a balcony, almost like curved balcony, looking out over a beautiful waterfall that's cascading down in the river that's in front of the palace, with that bridge, arching up to the right where you came in. And he's just, people are kind of like looking at him, confusedly, and kind of whispering them to each other and moving by. And he's just stood there looking at the water gushing through.
Bit of a surprise there, wasn't it?
That's... one word for it. Zakan.
It's a bronze for your thoughts.
What's happening? Who is that? Or he seems to be the one that belongs here. So more to the point, who am I?
Well, it wasn't an evil creature of the Abyss, so destroying him is out of the question, which would be the simplest solution. But as for what he is and who you are, who do you feel you are?
How am I supposed to answer that? You ever experienced this? Ever stepped into somewhere you thought you belonged and had everything? Your very being, your very identity usurped, torn away. His fingers are digging into the balcony, his claws crunching into the wood.
Zakan begins, just like with their hands under the railing of the bridge, they begin making the motions needed for calm emotions. just gonna hold on to that in the pocket for
Nice.
for this conversation.
Nice.
But they shake their head and say, I don't know what this feels like.
No. How could you? I've been taken away from my kingdom, my family, my people. Usurped, changed into this, and it clearly whatever it was that spellcaster was about is... He must be trying to infiltrate my mother's court. Implant an agent of his own. A spy. There's only one thing for it. Yes. For the sake of Zamhana, for the sake of my mother and these people, this pretender must be dealt with. This pretender must be destroyed. He turns violently, just slamming his claws into one of the columns there and tearing a chunk out of it. And some of the people going by just scream and run by, and you see movement of the guards like within the chamber, the hall, just like curiously reacting to the the disturbance outside.
We're gonna cast that calm emotions. We're gonna let that spell take effect.
I will not stand for this. I will not. And as several Wood Elf guards stand across the entrance to the throne room, to the council chamber, he holds up a paw. Apologies. Somewhat thrown off kilter there. The guards are still moving forward. Zagan, what do you say? What do you do?
I think they'll move so that like their body is between the guards and Darendil, but they're looking at him and they place a hand on his shoulder and they say, "You, Prince Darendil, and if these are your people, if this is your home, do you want to help them?"
Of course.
Then help them, not as an enemy or an attacker, but as an ally, as a prince.
The lead guard comes close. You are guests here, and our connection with our roots, if you will, in the Feywilds demand certain allowances of hospitality, but we politely request you come with us until we can sort this out. And Prince Darendil turns to you, Zakan. You know, I think it best. I do not know what is happening here, but I should be watched until we can figure this out. And he turns to the guards, nods in agreement, sacrifices his weapons, and the leader of the guards looks to you, Zakan. He will not be mistreated. Merely out of harm's reach. Or rather, putting the council out of his reach.
I would ask that you treat him as you would royalty.
As you wish. My lord, this way. And they kind of gesture and form up around him, 3 on either side. And he looks at you, Zakan. I'll be okay. I just don't know what's happening. And he walks away with the Wood Elf guards. And Zakan, you hear a small voice from your shoulder. You can start and look around, and a sizable spider emerges from the folds of your hood and tunic there. I know what's going on. And it is the voice of the Sister of Spiders. That was delicious. You are paid in full. The Briar King is gone. And I got to experience that. How the noble have fallen. You realize this is telepathic in your mind, Zakan.
I think they are just staring at the spider, and they say, "Are you satisfied?"
Oh, doubly.
Then our deal is done. And they grab the spider and they crush it in their hand.
That wasn't me. Merely some eyes on. I'm still in my webs, where I shall enjoy watching this unfold. Imagine bringing a Quaggoth into an elven court. Congratulations. A first, I believe. Well, I suppose at least it's more evidence for your cause. Do tell that poor Quaggoth, if he's ever returned to his senses, not to beat himself up too much about it. It is a strong mind, a stronger mind than his that could resist the delusions of Fraz Blue. And Zakarn, you know that name. Fraz Blue is the demon lord of lies and delusion. And if the Sister of Spiders is to be believed, it is he who infected this Quaggoth with the delusions of another life. And as the hag's cackling laughter fades and is lost in the rush of the river. We shall leave the court of Zumhana.
No, you can't!
As Alora finally rubs elbows with her people.
Yeah, I'm glad I had that conversation outside.
If anyone
No one's
knows
gotta know.
Laura, they will see the detest in her eyes when she has these very fake interactions.
I've just
there-
been
is
eating
there, like, a
popcorn this
change
whole
in her
time waiting
being?
for Alora.
Like, is Alora like courtly Alora, like in this sort of interaction?
She's forcing herself to be so, right?
Yeah.
I
I
assume.
feel like we've
Trying to
seen that.
remember very, very deep into her childhood what that was like.
I was trying to make Darendil more kind of like, kind of happy-go-lucky, less like snobbish, what kind of wood elf court, more of a practical, happy that you're Sibylla, hands-on and not just a court wallflower, But Elora's detestations of all things royal is too deep, I think. Okay. Thank you, my friends. That is all for today, but we are going to be drawing the lucky winner of the Avenir's pocketbook to Ravenloft in just a moment. So if you are not already, ! Enter in chat, and you can have your chance to win this fabulous present from CZRPG. Do jump in there, and we shall draw our winner in just a moment. Quickly going across the screen here, Kalo, where can people find you on the material plane?
Hi, friends. I'm Mike. I'm here, usually. That's my spiel. Thanks for joining in. We really appreciate you.
Thank you. Zakan, your good self.
Hi, I am Steven, and I am also usually here when I'm not working or whatever. You can find me on Twitter at Distant Shores if you want to see a lot of stuff about buildings and architecture.
Thank you. And last but not least, Your Highness.
You can find me once a month on Suma Suda's channel as a DM for Lost Minds and Pandemic, and it's interesting to watch, I'll say that.
Excellent stuff. Okay, thank you, my friends. So, as we are wrapping things up there, do join us for our other streams this week if you are able. Later on, I'm going to refer to everything in Eastern, US Eastern time zone. So the majority of our friends are over there. Please adjust as relevant. Thursday morning, we'll see our return to Ravenloft. They have defeated the Tarask. There was a Tarask tearing Castle Ravenloft apart, but then they discovered that it was their friend, the Lich Exthanta, playing with his action figures all along. And our real adventurers have returned to Barovia with the spirits of the Forest Thane, who they shall be returning to Madame Eva and reuniting them with their corporeal form, the first on their journey to returning Barovia to the material plane. Then, Thursday night, we'll be back in the Feywild with Wild Beyond the Witchlight. They are in the final area of the Domain of Delight that is Prismia, and they are trying to find out and work their way through the complications and the faux pas that they are causing and the enemies they're almost making along the way, and questing along with their Dandelion Knight friends there. And, of course, the Honeybee Queen, Polynella. Then, on Friday morning, we return to Chesenta for our sneak peek preview playthrough of CGRPG's upcoming Chesenta's Tyranny. Also, lots of cool stuff going off over there. And then Friday night, we have our special Halloween one-shot with our very special guests, Darling Creepshow and GM Workshop, along with our friend Baron Dragonborn there, who I saw was doing his character stuff there. Can't wait to meet them. And our friend Stephanie as well from Wild Beyond the Witchlight. And then you can join us for that. Then, Saturday morning, we don't have anything this week, as I will be over having our Session 0 with our friend Kalo and Alora here, as I get to be a player with them over on QuestJunkiesUK. Do check out our friend Patch and all the amazing stuff they do over there. And you can see us. We're doing our Session 0 offline on Saturday, but then November 5th is Session 1, as we set off in a new dark campaign in Rodania. Fantastic stuff. Looking forward to playing my little lizard ranger, Gekato. Then that'll bring us around to the next week, where we will be kicking things off Sunday night or Monday morning, depending where you are, with the fantastic crew, including Kalo over there, Mike, evil group, and we will get things rolling as they are continuing their quest to find another crashed Nethery city, not the one that hit with Draenor, a different one. As you can, by the way, if you want to check out our stream team heads roll together, they did a mini campaign which was delving into the ruins of Myth Draenor. I need to watch that and catch up and see what's left of Alora's home. Figure out what's going on there. So, thank you everybody. Thank you for everyone joining us today. Special shout outs to Dan and all of those wonderful people over at Sirenscape. We love you lots and really enjoy using it in the games here. And thanks for jumping into that Discord there. Definitely will check that out. Thank you. Looking forward to talking more. And we will see you all again very, very soon. And do I drop it here? I usually say we kind of drop all of our news and reveals in the Discord, but do I give you lovely folks a sneak preview? Yes, sod it. First weekend of November. Stay tuned. We have a very special reverse honey heist. We have a reverse honey heist. We were reading through the fabulous Book of Ebb and Tides from Cobalt Press, and we were looking at the Bearfolk enclaves and all of their honey festivals that they enjoy. So it occurred to me that it'd be fun to do a reverse honey heist, where instead of bears pretending to be humans, we have shadow goblins pretending to be bearfolk, 3 kobolds in a trenchcoat style, as they are sneaking into the Bearfolk Honey Festival and trying to insert some prank honey, some tainted honey into the honey festival to cause all kind of mischief over there. And we have a very, very fine group of shadow goblins to take us on this heist, this reverse heist, as we will be joined by Robert Hartley GM, Dreaded GM, AJ Winters, and James Hake, the author of the first ever Dungeons & Dragons adventure I ever ran, the fabulous author of the Critical Role books, and they will be joining us as we put together this squad of nasty little goblins to cause some havoc. It is going to be chaos incarnate, and I cannot wait. Right, so there you go. You heard it here first, folks. That was our first reveal of that. I'm glad you misspelled that, Daisy. Do not sully yourself with such stuff. Yes, almost an Antipodean All-Stars reunion there, Phantom. Lots of fantastic Aussies and Kiwis in that group. And James Hake, too, who has recently met all of them down at PAX Oz, so he's an honorary Antipodean All-Star, I think. Yes, the heist to put the honey back in the jar. Okay, thank you everyone, my friends. Absolute legends as always. Thank you so much for everything today. And we will draw ourselves a lucky winner here. The chances passed you by if you're not in there already. Boop. Closing up those entries there. Good luck, everybody. Today's copy of Davigneur's Pocketbook to Ravenloft goes to JR. Congratulations, my friend. Just double check you're still in chat. I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Double check. Yes. I think. Are we there? Yes.
Yep.
I was looking. I forgot to promoted you to the VIP section, JR. So congratulations to JR. Thank you for everyone who's joined us today. And we will see you all very, very soon. Stick around for a peek at the fantastic Troll Lord Games Kickstarter that is happening at the moment. I will be showing you all the goodies about that. And then we'll be raiding on to some of our friends. Let's see who's on at the moment. So many cool people. None of the stream team are on. So let us go and raid into our guest for that Halloween one-shot. Our good friend, Darling Creepshow, is on at the moment. So let us jump in and say a big hello to her. Stick around, get yourself some of those Dream Pie channel points that you can help our adventurers in the future. And we will see you all again very, very soon. So that's all for today, my friends. You know what to do. Stick around for that raid if you've got them. Let those phoenixes fly. But till next time, as we like to say around these parts, oyasumi nasai. Oyasumi.
Oyasumi.
the many ancient civilizations of the world, none can surpass the grand majesty of ancient China, one of the oldest and longest lasting civilizations in the history of the world, going back over 4,000 years. Troller Games is proud to announce our latest Mythos series project, the Codex Sonarum. The Codex Sonarum covers the might and profound wonders of prehistoric to medieval China, both historic and mythic for castles and crusades. With almost 200 mythical Chinese creatures and over 140 deities and heroes, the Codex Sonarum is filled with monsters, gods, warriors, and more on a level that will be truly legendary, told in a narrative true to Chinese history. It introduces the basics of Chinese martial arts and is complete with Qi and the many legendary abilities associated with it. Ancient complex systems of sorcery, spellcraft, and fortune-telling, even enchanted charms, are explored as well. Players can live out their characters' adventures in tales set in popular Chinese fantasy styles like wuxia and more, while within a pseudo-historical setting and brought to life by the castle keeper or game master. Researched and written by Brian Young, the wildly popular Mythos series delves into the mythos of the ancient world, bringing hosts of gods and heroes, legends and lore, and even the monsters and foes that plagued the peoples of ancient times to the stories that you create. The Codex Sonarum brings ancient China to your table. Join us and pledge today. Trollord Games, join the fray.